Greetings, I'm Epictetus, and this is Epic Tech. And today we are going to take a deep dive analytical look into the new GUI, the new HUD that Keen released recently. I am in 1.179.0, which is what they've got, where they've got the new HUD. So, I figured what better place to start than, wait. Oh, that's the update for that version. I'm in 1.179.013. Let's read those backward. I figured what better place to start than the pause screen. You can see right here that they've made some pretty dramatic changes to the buttons. Just kind of cleaning them up, making them look nicer, that kind of thing. Everything has been changed to this new look, no matter where you go, even into the options page and that kind of thing. It's all exactly the same stuff. It's just kind of an overall refresh of the basics behind the scenes. The real interesting thing is the new HUD. And you can see it is quite a bit different than the old one. The old one just had a bunch of kind of listed numbers on the sides. And then, of course, a little area down at the bottom for your hotbar. And a couple of other tiny little things. But now we've got all kinds of funness. So let's start in the upper left-hand corner of the HUD area. You can see that the first item there, and it even has the hotkey above it, which is going to be great for newcomers to the game. People that don't know what all these different hotkeys are off the top of their head. So J on mine anyways, I know some people have some different hotkeys set up. J puts your helmet on and takes it off again, and it does a nice little thing there. I like how it kind of fades. It's kind of nice. X, of course, for your jetpack. And if you look at the horizon indicator, you can see that it shows, well, it shows your horizon. And of course, this only works when there's planet gravity. When you're moving, there's a little plus that appears. This is handy because sometimes when you're out in space, you can be moving and not really realize it. Even on a planet when it's dark, you can be moving and not even really realize it. You probably saw that plus come and go, and yeah, it wasn't even obvious to me that I was moving other than that. So that's handy. That's very handy. O is a feature that a lot of people didn't even know about before. That's your internal antenna, your broadcasting antenna. And that's really useful in multiplayer games when you're playing against somebody else, because you will appear on somebody else's HUD unless you turn that off. Also, if I turn that off, I cannot access any other ships or anything by my antenna. So it's kind of a two-edged sword there. So now if I turn that back on, you can see I've got my base and the various different things I've got going on. L for light. I just turned that off. It was on a second ago because it's night. And then running down the left-hand side, there's your health, your oxygen, your energy, and your hydrogen. And oxygen and hydrogen have a neat little feature. You'll notice that I have a hydrogen bottle with 0%. A minute ago, I actually had some hydrogen bottles on the HUD. If I throw that back in there and go find myself some more hydrogen, let's see, let's just go ahead and hydrogen. It doesn't want to let me use my hydrogen tanks. Well, if you watch my Let's Play series, you'll know that I had to sacrifice my reactor, my two reactors in my ship here for another project, which is why I couldn't actually connect to my hydrogen tanks, but it's okay. I can just go ahead and grab them now. And now we can see that at the bottom down there, it shows that I have 2 hydrogen tanks. And if I get rid of those hydrogen tanks or they get to 0, they will disappear off of the HUD. So I know that I've got a full, well, a 66% full hydrogen and then 2 more tanks to fill it up. I'm hoping that eventually they will actually show those hydrogen tanks with a percentage on them as well, either a numerical percentage or with kind of just, you know, a grayed out portion, so you can see if you have just a tiny bit or a lot or whatnot, because when you're going out to do some projects, it's nice to know without having to go into your inventory. The next part over is your meters per second, which is also handy because, you know, speed and things. There we go. And then it tells you that you can cycle the HUD by hitting tab. Handy. I also like that when you turn dampeners off, it actually turns red. It's really obvious now. I know before there were times where I'd be flying along and I wouldn't be quite sure why things weren't working right, and I'd hit the ground far too fast and that kind of thing. This is hard to control without dampeners on. Turn those on and thank you very much. It's a whole lot better. Up at the top of that center section there, that's your inventory. And I've been meaning to try to figure out exactly like what percentage full it turns red. So let's see if we can figure that out really quick. I'm just going to start grabbing a bunch of steel plates. And let's see, I'm just going to fill up with steel plates. And you notice it's red, and it's gotten all the way to the end of the bar. I really wish that they would give me an actual number there. There's some places on here that they give you numbers and some that you don't, and honestly, some I don't need numbers and some I really do. This is one that I really do want numbers, and they have not given it to me. Let's see, if I right drag over, then I can separate out 100 and drop just 100. And I notice it's red there, but there is still a little bit of a bar back beyond the red. And I wish that was a little more visible, but unfortunately it is not. No, Igor is picking up those. That's okay. So below that, we have, of course, our hotbar. And this really hasn't changed much, except for it seems to me that the icons are a little bit smaller than they were before. Not sure why that is, but they are. And some of the modded items have a white background. Not all of them, but some of them. Hopefully that'll get fixed pretty soon. I do like that they have given us an indicator for mirror mode. I don't like that that indicator for mirror mode is not, or is available in non-creative mode. I'm in survival mode. I can't do mirror mode, but they're showing it to me. That's kind of a waste of space and will be confusing for some newer people. I'm really glad they added the T for rotation thing. This was something that nobody knew you could do. I shouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people didn't even know you could do. So you can see how it automatically rotates based on what I'm looking at. Let's get something that's a little more obvious than that. There, yeah, this little guy. So you can see it rotates depending on what you're pointing at. Like if I wanted to, say, put a bunch of spikes on here, and then I accidentally go down there for a second. Let's see. Like, yeah, there you go. So I move around, and now all of a sudden my spike's not pointing the right direction anymore, and I've got to rotate it. So T turns that auto rotation off. So now it will always be pointing in the same direction no matter what, even if it cannot be placed. So like that right there. It cannot be placed. I have to manually rotate it. But when I'm doing a bunch of these, that's handy because it means it is absolutely impossible to accidentally rotate away from what I was trying to do. Hooray! And then it does tell you that you now have to press the same number again to get a miniature version of that. So you can switch between large and small block grid. Small grid thing. All right. Then we've got the artificial gravity and planet gravity. And right now there's no artificial gravity because we're at full planet gravity. And they're showing 9.81. Now, this bothers me for several reasons. One is they used to show it as G's, 1G for an Earth-like planet, which is great. And now all of a sudden they're doing 9.81 meters per second squared, I assume is what it is, because that's what 1G is. I think a lot of people are going to get confused by that. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Luckily, all this is moddable, and so modders can get in here and fix a lot of the annoyances, plus they're still working on it, so that's fine. At the very bottom, you can see where it says O2 high, and that means that we've got high oxygen in this area. Excellent. That's a really good thing. Glad they have that. Let's move on. Right next to that is the color indicator. So if I hit Shift P, I can pick up the color of my tree here. And it's kind of that, it's that dark brown that's almost black there. So let's grab a green. That's a little more obvious. Yeah, so that's green. Cool. On the far right-hand side, when we are not in a ship, is all grayed out. So I'm going to go hop into my little jetpack over here. And we should be able to see, let's see. Oops, I just turned it off and I got a red ring on the Y over there. It means I have no power. I actually wanted to turn the, let's see, there we go. And now we can see our total weight, which is really handy to see the weight of the ship. And then below that, we can see how many days our batteries will last, or our power will last. So if I'm just floating, I get 5 days. If I'm going full speed, I get about 2 to 3 days. I'd like to see a little more granularity on that, but it's not that big a deal. Then it's showing my power usage, and this is something that I'm not entirely thrilled with, because it's showing 2 and then 1. What is that? Is that megawatts, kilowatts? I'd really like to know, thank you. And below there, this is a new feature. They've got H2, the hydrogen. This is great because, I always had to use a third-party script to find out how much hydrogen I had. So let's go hop into, actually, we'll just fly this guy over. So here over on my MBT, we'll go jump into the cockpit. Or not the cockpit, the bridge. And I don't care what happens to that because I'm not going to save this world. And let's take a look. And it shows that we have 9.1 million something or other. Again, I'd really like to see units there. And it's showing that it's about half full. And if I jump out and look, it's showing my hydrogen tanks are 45% full, so that's accurate. But how much hydrogen do I actually have? Let's see. Let's find a hydro tank. Hydrogen tanks are... Wow, how much do I have? I have no idea what that unit is. It says 9.1 million something. Is that 9.1 million kilograms of hydrogen? I don't know. Atoms? No, that wouldn't be right. I don't know. Anyway, then at the top, we've got P, which is whether you're connected or not. And it's saying that we could connect. Can I even get off the... No. And then if I hit P again, it connects and locks in. I don't really like that because I've got both landing gear and a connector on here. And they might not both be connected. And I'm not sure if it's saying that it's just one. Let's see if I undo the landing gear, it doesn't change. If I undo the connector, I don't think I have a quick one. Let's see, that'd be this guy here. So if I unlock that. Okay, so the icon for P right now, okay, I'm not locked down to anything and it's lit up. If I hit P, I'm now locked down and it's not lit up. But if I unlock, now I'm locked down and it's lit up. And if I lock this one, it's still lit up. If I hit P, the light goes away. That's weird. I don't know what that P is supposed to mean. But I do know that O apparently does absolutely nothing. Shift O? O, Shift O, that doesn't work. Doesn't do anything. Because, you know, reasons. Absolutely no use. Cool. Y shuts down power. We already know this. I'm going to turn that back on again. And that is the entire HUD. That's all there is, but there is a couple more things to show, and that is that if we hit Tab, it takes away all of the hints and tips. So this is kind of the pro mode. This is for people that know all the keys, they know how things work. And then you hit it one more time and it takes away everything except the crosshair. This is a change. You used to not have the crosshair here when you went into full screen. I'm almost positive, pretty darn positive, that there was no crosshair before. I don't like that because I'm a YouTuber and I like to record and I don't like anything in my way. But I'm sure that's moddable. We'll get, or that maybe they'll fix it. I don't know. Long story short, Keen is really moving the right direction with this HUD. I really think they are. There's definitely still some things to be fiddled with and some things to get right. But for right now, I think they're really, really close. Oh yeah, and the F1 key. I didn't even mention that. And there you go. And as always, I'll see you next time on Epic Tech. I'm going to stop. I have this horrible habit of just jabbering on at the end of my videos. Don't know why I do that. It's just a thing I do, I guess. Okay. All right. Well, let's just finish it off then.